So we're in the Pumproom kitchen at the Copper Rivet Distillery down in Chatham, and Lily, today you are cooking for me what?
Sourdough crumpets.
Sourdough crumpets, right, okay, what does that involve?
So obviously with lockdown, loads of people did the making sourdough bread themselves, so I'm going to show you something that you can do using the discard from the sourdough that you take out when you feed it, so something that you can use instead of throwing it away. Right,
okay. And so what have you actually got in your pot there then?
So this is my sourdough starter. I fed it yesterday, so it's nice and bubbly, but it doesn't have to be fed. It can be a week old and you can use it. It's literally just the stuff that you would throw away normally, you're going to make into something, so it doesn't have to be too bubbly to use it.
And what's actually in that?
So this is just flour and water.
Mm-hmm.
So a starter, you feed flour and water for a few weeks, and then you can make bread out of it, so it's then the rising agent in a bread. It's just very slow release, so it takes a long time to
Bubble up
and ferment. Yeah, so this is just really old flour and water, basically.
Old flour and water. Sounds delicious. Okay. So what are you going to do with it to make it something delicious?
So I'm going to mix that with some sugar, salt and bicarbonate of soda, and then cook it on a hot pan, and that's really simple.
Right, go for it.
So this makes about 4 crumpets, so you want 227 grams of your starter, half a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of sugar, and then about the same of bicarb. If your starter's a bit old, you can add a bit more bicarb. Just give that a good mix. And you want to get 4 rings and a really hot pan if you're at home. Really, really hot.
So when you say really hot, how hot? Like smoking hot?
Yeah. Well, you want it to be not smoking hot, but just below, so that when you put the mix in, it gets that nice colour on the bottom of the crumpet.
Right, okay. Because it's a real traditional, old-fashioned thing, isn't it, a crumpet? They've been literally around for centuries.
Yeah, and sourdough is one of the first ever breads made, so it's those two together, it's really nice. So with your rings, at home, just a bit of oil around the edges, but I'm going to use the spray, it's a bit easier.
Is butter all right?
No, because it could then burn because of the heat from the pan, so oil's best.
Right, okay. And what are you putting in here now?
And then a little bit of oil in each of the ring bottoms, just to stop it sticking.
And you can see that is hot, that is smoking a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, and then you just want to divide this between the rings. So yeah, as you can see, all the bubbles are now starting to appear that you get in your crumpets, and they're starting to cook around the edge, slowly coming away from the ring.
And you just keep an eye on it until the bubbles start coming up.
When you start to see that it's cooking around the edges, like you can see here, that's when you're then going to take the rings off and flip them. But obviously if you do it too early, all the mix is then just going to pour out the middle, which we don't want. So yeah, timing is quite essential at this point.
So this is where a bit of experience comes in, knowing the right moment to flip them, yeah?
Yeah, once you've done them a few times, you'll know what to look for around the edges when they're cooked enough.
Tension's unbearable, waiting for these crumpets to be flipped over. So these are, you're actually going to be serving these in the pump room when the restaurant's actually open, aren't you? Yeah,
these are going to be going in the bread basket along with 2 other breads, so if you come in you'll be able to taste them.
Right, okay. So what are the other breads that you're going to put in?
So we're going to be doing a rosemary and sun-dried tomato focaccia and a distiller's grain loaf using the grains from the distillery.
Oh right, okay.
So when you can see that they've got that bit cooked around the edge, they're ready to flip.
Here we go then, it's flipping time. And then it just takes a few moments for that to cook through?
Yeah, so this side's doesn't take as long because you've done most of the cooking on the other side, which is why this side's going to be slightly darker than the other side. So yeah, just a couple more minutes longer, and then you should be able to feel when you squeeze the edges. We are going to be doing a Marmite butter here, which is really nice. I don't like Marmite, but this butter is really nice on the crumpets.
I was going to say, because Marmite's quite divisive, isn't it, in general terms?
Yeah, I don't normally like it, but in the butter. It's not too strong a flavour, it's nice and subtle.
All right, well, I'll give one a test.
Okay,
These are starting to smell good now, aren't they?
Yep, so they're just about done. So when you feel on the edge, they don't feel like they're all wobbly on the inside. They've got a not too firm, but a firm touch.
Mm-hmm.
So take those off.
And now you're going to make me wait for them to cool down, aren't you?
Yep, so you can eat them straight away with whatever topping you want. But what we're going to do is we're going to wait for them to cool down and then re-toast them again on the hot top to give them a nice crisp and soft inside. And then we're going to put the butter on and eat them.
Okay, I can't wait. I'm getting so hungry watching all this. So Lily, we're good to go.
Yep, so we've had about 2 minutes on each side. They've got a nice crisp top. So we're now ready to cut them and butter them.
Cut them and butter them and eat them. Right, so moment of truth time then. Right, that's lovely. Because the Marmite, it's not too, it's not like an overpowering hit of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's just a really lovely. It's just a lovely crumpet. Yeah, no, it's delicious. So, when the restaurant opens, these are going to be in the bread basket.
Yep, these will be in the bread basket with this butter. So.
Yes, please. Thank you. That's really good. Can I have the other bit?
Go for it.
This is a good job.